I don't have a funny bit for this intro. If you've been watching, you'll have noticed that I've been out in the desert near Palm Springs these last couple of vlogs, playing at Agua Caliente. It's because we have a house out here. Do. I thought I'd kind of back up and explain to you what's going on. At the end of the first year of the pandemic, we bought a house out here near Palm Springs to renovate, to fix up as an investment, to rent out. To call it a fixer-upper is to call the Grand Canyon a big hole in the ground. Bit of an understatement. I've never really showed you the. You know what? Take a look around.
This is a mesquite tree. I'd never seen one before. We brought it back from the dead. Turns out they like water too. See this door here? Well, I almost dropped this door. That's a $2,500 door. But I didn't, and we had it put in, and it's beautiful. My wife is an interior designer. The best. Her taste is amazing. This house is beautiful, and thank you, Carla, for making this beautiful house for me. That blue headboard, she had it custom made. She said, "Hey, I'm going to put a bathtub in the bedroom." I said, "All right." This place is beautiful, it's peaceful, and it's nicer than I ever could have imagined, and that's all because of my wife. Thank you, baby. And thank you to Lex and Eric and Mace and everybody else who pitched in, who came all the way from LA to lend us a hand. I mean, it takes a village, I guess, to build a house. All right, look at this view. You go through the kitchen, arches everywhere. And that is my mountain. Goodbye, mountain. I am going to miss you. I promise to come and visit.
As I'm sure you have by now surmised, we are selling the house. Let's not dwell on that. Let's shake off these blues and go play some damn poker.
Suited Broadway cards, the ace, jack, a spades, especially on your first hand, are just so damn beautiful. Nothing happens in this hand worth mentioning, but I sure like looking at ace, jack suited. I put in 10 pre-flop. There are 3 of us, so there's 30 in the pot on the flop, which I whiff completely. The pre-flop better makes it 30, and that's me checking in my cards, but hey, pretty. This is an absolute classic poker hand. Ace, king on the button. My notes say there are 3 limpets to me. I'm guessing that's limpers, though. Let's go with limpers. 3 limpers to me. I bet 17. Pick up 2 callers, so about a $45 pot, give or take, after the rake, and the flop comes down ace, 5, 6. Love it. So when it's checked to me, I bet 25 and get 1 caller. Turn comes up, putting a 7 on the board. So you don't love a 5, 6, 7. A lot of 2 pairs get there. A lot of straights get there. A lot of crap that he might play gets there. But I glance over, I see he's only got about 35 left. And I realize we're putting it all in. So I make a bet. He calls. The river is the king, which is good, just in case he had a weird 2 pair. But I turn over my top 2 pair. He mucks. And I take down a solid 160, 170 pot. And then what happens is probably the most common and, quote, normal thing that happens in a poker session. You get a series of cards that are just playable enough and nothing really happens. You get an ace, 8 of spades. Nothing really happens with that hand. You get an ace, 9 of clubs. Very attractive. Who doesn't love an ace suited? But you throw in a few bucks, you see a flop, nothing happens, you move on. Sometimes, when you're feeling frisky, you even take a look at a flop with a jack suited, maybe a jack 3 of diamonds. But you get away from it pretty quick if nothing develops for you. How about more diamonds? This time ace high. Ace 10, nothing happens. Nope. You get away. It's pretty. You see a flop. Nothing happens. Like I said, this is the, quote, normal part. 5, 6 suited. I like this. I'm going to play this for sure. I'm probably going to raise pre-flop. miss the flops, somebody gets aggressive, you got to get out of the way. You know, this is, like I said, the most common part, queen nine suited. I don't mind a queen nine of spades. Don't mind it at all. I'll play that hand. Even managed to pick up a few shekels with that queen nine o spades. Got pushed to me. What about sixes? How about a pocket pair? Maybe you flop a set. Boom! We don't flop a set. That's all right. Ace three suited. What about ace three of spades? This might be the ticket. It's not the ticket. Which brings us to pocket queens, which is the hand of the night. This hand for me is interesting because poker is still part art, part science. We know the science stuff. The opening hand charts, the pot odds, the effective stack sizes, the EV, expected value, right? The science part. But what about the art part? What about the part where you just know something and you want to do something that makes no sense, but you just know is the right move? That's what this hand is all about. I've got queens in the cutoff. Gentleman to my right opens for 20. I make it 50. Fold, back to him, and he calls just with no thought. He doesn't think of raising, he doesn't think of folding, he just calls. What does he have? Aces or kings. You're saying, oh, Marty, maybe he has ace king. He doesn't have ace king. He doesn't. Sometimes you just know. Sometimes you just know things in poker, and you've got to say to yourself, I need to trust myself. You might remember a controversial hand from a few vlogs ago where it got bet to me and I 3-bet with my kings. It got around to the girl with queens. She folded pre-flop and people were like, why are you even playing poker if you're willing to fold queens pre-flop? But why are we playing poker unless we're willing to do things that make no sense sometimes, but we just feel it or know it? That's the art part of poker. That's the interesting part of poker. Not the science. The science is fun, fine. The math, the science. But the art part, the magic part, where you do things that make no sense, where you know the guy is bluffing. And all you have is 7-4, but you just know if you choose this moment to shove, he's going to fold. That's the art part. That's the fun part. And sometimes it means I have a monster hand, but I know it's not good right now. I should fold. Well, I don't. That's not what this story is about. So he makes it 20. I make it 50. He calls effortlessly. Flop is all low cards. So it's big pair versus big pair. He checks, and I look over, and at this point I realize he's only got about 125 left. So 50 pre-flop means there's, 100 in the pot, 110 in the pot. He's got about 125 left. And I tell myself, can I ever really fold with 3 low cards? I can't, even though I know he's got aces or kings. I just know it. One of those things. I just know it. But can I ever fold? No. He checks it to me in flow, of course. And I realize I can't ever give this one up. I go all in. He calls. He tosses over his kings. I toss over my queens. I lose. No big deal. $250 pot. But it felt like, wait, 125, 250, 350. It's a $350 pot. These are the moments when you say, is there something I could have done differently? Could you fold queens to no overcard when he's got 125 left? When you just feel it? I don't know. It's probably a terrible move to do. Probably people are going to say, oh, you can never, it's just bad luck sometimes. People like to say that about poker. Sometimes it's just a cooler situation. Yeah, but if we know it's a cooler situation, aren't we supposed to do something about it? I don't know. All right, I'm just finishing this edit for this vlog, and oh, that's a little close. I don't like this ending. It's a bit of a downer, if you ask me, and I kind of feel like you are asking me. So I'm adding one bonus hand. I played in a live stream, my first live stream, but only really had one hand that I felt was worthy of sharing. So I'm going to put that on right now, the bonus hand from the live stream. Thanks for watching. Enjoy that. There's not going to be an outro. This is like the pre-outro outro. Then the bonus hand, and then we fade into the sunset. At this point, we've been on the stream for about, I don't know, hour and a half, hour 15. Split the difference. No hands that really got my blood pumping. A couple small pots. I lost a pretty good chunk with my king jack. I finally looked down at pocket kings. I'm on my straddle, and when the blinds offer to chop, I kind of shake them off. I give them the old nuclear loosh. I don't think so. I raise 15, making it 20 to see the flop. Both the blinds decide to come along. You don't mind that when people go from asking to chop to just calling your little raise. So the flop comes down 10-6-5 rainbow. I'm not complaining for sure at this point. especially when they both check it over to me. I lead out for 20, little continuation bet. And at this point, only the big blind calls. The big blind is the one driving all the action in this game. Turn is the 8, putting another spade on the board. And now the big blind leads into me for $40. The donk lead. What does it mean? I mean, if he really just got there, doesn't he just, check it along, let me keep betting? I really think he's got the one pair draw type of holding, so I got about 150 behind. I go all in, and he pretty much snap calls me. I don't love that. Dealer puts out another 10 on the river. I really don't love that, but I flip over my kings. I wait for him to do something. He does nothing. Tosses his cards in the muck. Not complaining. Pull in a solid $400